What if I told you that the first words you speak to yourself every morning determine the quality of your entire day? That before the world even gets a chance to tell you who you are, you have already made the decision. Listen to me. You don't wake up just to exist. You wake up to dominate. You wake up to create. You wake up to win. The moment you open your eyes in the morning, your mind is already at work, setting the tone for the rest of your day. Before you even step out of bed, your thoughts begin shaping your attitude, your energy, and your actions. Most people don't realize this, but the first few moments of your day are some of the most powerful. They determine whether you step into the world with confidence and purpose, or whether you allow negativity, doubt, and distractions to take control. If you wake up and immediately start thinking about your problems, your limitations, or what went wrong yesterday, you are programming your brain to expect more of the same. But if you start your day with thoughts of possibility, gratitude, and determination, you will find that everything around you begins to align with that energy. Your subconscious mind is most impressionable in the first few minutes after waking up. That's why so many successful people are intentional about their morning routine. If you allow your mind to drift aimlessly, it will often default to fear, worry, or stress. This is why some people wake up already feeling overwhelmed, exhausted, or frustrated before they even begin their day. But those who take control of their first thoughts, who speak life, possibility, and success over themselves, set a powerful momentum that carries them throughout the day. Think of your mind as a garden. Whatever you plant in the morning will grow throughout the day. If you plant weeds, negative thoughts, self-doubt, or hesitation, you will harvest frustration and failure. But if you plant seeds of confidence, focus, and determination, you will harvest progress and success. What you think about first thing in the morning affects how you feel, and how you feel determines how you act. If your first thought is, I'm tired, your body will respond with low energy. If your first thought is, today is going to be tough, your brain will seek out evidence to prove you right. But if you wake up and say, I am powerful, I am focused, I am ready, your entire physiology will shift. Your energy levels will rise. Your brain will start looking for opportunities instead of obstacles. Your posture will change, your voice will be stronger, and your decisions will be sharper. The way you start your morning doesn't just affect you. It affects how people respond to you, the choices you make, and the results you get. The problem is, most people let the world dictate their first thoughts. They grab their phone and scroll through social media, exposing themselves to negativity, bad news, and distractions before they've even set their own mental foundation. They check their email and immediately feel the weight of other people's demands. Instead of leading their own mind, they allow their environment to lead them. And as a result, they start their day on defense, reacting instead of creating, worrying instead of executing. But the most successful people don't let the world decide their mood, their energy, or their confidence. They take control of their morning thoughts because they understand that their mind is the most powerful tool they have. If you want to take charge of your life, you must first take charge of your mind. And that starts the very moment you wake up. You need to make a conscious decision to fill your mind with powerful, positive, and productive thoughts. Instead of dwelling on problems, focus on solutions. Instead of replaying yesterday's failures, visualize today's victories. Instead of worrying about what could go wrong, get excited about what could go right. Your brain is like a supercomputer, and the thoughts you program into it in the morning set the operating system for your entire day. If you run a program of confidence and success, that's what you'll experience. But if you run a program of doubt and fear, your day will reflect that. Your morning thoughts also determine how resilient you are. Life will always throw challenges at you, but the way you respond to them depends on your mindset. If you start your day expecting struggles, you'll magnify every inconvenience, every delay, every obstacle. But if you start your day expecting growth, you'll see every challenge as an opportunity to get stronger. The same event that could frustrate one person could empower another, simply because of the mindset they set in the morning. Champions wake up expecting to win, and that expectation fuels their actions. They don't leave their mindset to chance. They shape it with intention. One of the most powerful ways to control your first thoughts is through declarations. When you wake up, don't wait to see how you feel. Tell yourself how to feel. Speak success over your life before you even leave your bed. Say, I am disciplined, I am confident, I am unstoppable. Say it with power, say it with certainty, and say it until your brain believes it. Because your brain will believe whatever you tell it most often. If you say, I'm not good enough over and over again, that becomes your reality. But if you say, I was born to succeed, that belief will shape your actions and ultimately your results. Your thoughts are the architects of your destiny. What you tell yourself in the morning will determine the decisions you make, the people you attract, and the opportunities you create. Most people spend their mornings thinking about what they don't want, and that's exactly what they get. But high achievers wake up and declare what they do want. They program their minds for success, and success follows. The good news is you have that same power. Every morning you have a choice. Will you feed your mind with thoughts that elevate you or thoughts that diminish you? Because whatever you choose will become the foundation of your day. Most people go through life as if they are passengers on a bus, moving in whatever direction circumstances, other people, or even their past mistakes take them. They react instead of act, follow instead of lead, and wait instead of create. But the truth is, no one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you success, happiness, or fulfillment. If you don't take control of your life, someone else will. Your job, your family, society, everyone has an idea of who they think you should be, but none of that matters if you don't decide for yourself. The moment you understand that your destiny is not written by fate, but by the choices you make every single day, you unlock the ability to create a life that reflects your true potential. Your past does not define your future. Too many people allow their history to become their destiny. They think because they grew up in poverty, they will always struggle financially. They think because they made mistakes, they are forever limited by them. But the only thing that keeps you trapped in your past is your belief that you are stuck there. Every successful person you admire has a past filled with failures, setbacks, and moments of doubt. The difference is they refuse to let those moments define them. They took control. They made a decision to rise above, to learn, to grow, and to rewrite their own story. You have that same ability. No matter where you've been, no matter what you've been through, you have the power to create a future that looks nothing like your past. Your thoughts and beliefs shape your reality. If you believe you are powerless, you will act powerless. If you believe you are capable of greatness, you will act accordingly. The problem is, most people have been conditioned to doubt themselves. From an early age, they are told what they can't do, what they shouldn't try, and why they won't succeed. Over time, they internalize those limitations and begin to live within them, even though they are nothing more than mental barriers. But just as your mind was programmed to doubt, it can be reprogrammed to believe. The first step to taking control of your destiny is taking control of your mind. You must reject limiting beliefs, challenge the stories you've been told about yourself, and replace them with empowering truths. You are not weak. You are not stuck. You are not average. You are powerful beyond measure, and it's time to start acting like it. Your daily choices determine your future. Every decision you make, no matter how small, is either moving you closer to your destiny or pulling you further away from it. What you eat, how you spend your time, the people you associate with, the content you consume, all of it matters. Success is not built on one massive decision. It is the result of hundreds, even thousands of small choices made consistently over time. That means every day you are either reinforcing habits that push you toward your goals or habits that keep you stuck. The problem is most people don't make intentional decisions. They operate on autopilot. They wake up and do the same things they did yesterday, never stopping to ask themselves if those actions are leading them to the life they truly want. If you want to take control of your destiny, you must become intentional about every choice you make. Because every choice is a vote for the future you are creating. Taking control of your destiny means taking full responsibility for your life. You cannot change what you refuse to own. Too many people waste years blaming their circumstances, their upbringing, their environment, or other people for where they are in life. But blaming never changes anything. It only keeps you stuck. The most successful people don't waste time pointing fingers. They focus on what they can control. They don't complain about their problems. They create solutions. They don't wait for opportunities. They make them. The moment you stop making excuses and start taking responsibility, you reclaim your power. Because when you realize that you are the common denominator in every area of your life, you also realize that you are the one who can change it. The people you surround yourself with will either fuel your destiny or destroy it. If you are constantly around people who doubt, complain, and settle for less, it will be nearly impossible for you to rise above. Your environment shapes your mindset, and your mindset shapes your actions. That's why successful people are extremely intentional about who they spend time with. They seek out mentors, friends, and communities that challenge them, push them, and inspire them to become better. If the people around you don't believe in growth, in success, in creating a better future, then you must be willing to distance yourself from them. Because your destiny is too important to be weighed down by the limitations of others. Find people who align with your vision, who support your ambitions, and who remind you of the greatness you are capable of achieving. Fear is the biggest enemy of destiny. The fear of failure, the fear of rejection, the fear of uncertainty. It keeps people stuck in the same place year after year. But fear is an illusion. It only has power if you let it stop you. Every successful person you admire has felt fear, but they acted anyway. They understood that growth requires stepping into the unknown, taking risks, and being willing to fail forward. If you allow fear to dictate your choices, you will spend your life playing small, settling for less, and wondering what could have been. But when you decide that your destiny is more important than your fears, everything changes. You stop waiting for the perfect moment and start creating opportunities. You stop hesitating and start executing. You stop dreaming and start doing. Because the only way to take control of your future is to take bold action despite the fear. Your life will only change when you decide to change it. No one can do it for you. No amount of wishing, hoping, or waiting will create success. It is only when you take radical ownership of your mindset, your actions, and your decisions that you begin to create the future you truly desire. And once you fully embrace that truth, you will no longer be at the mercy of circumstances. You will be the master of them. From the moment you were born, you were equipped with everything you need to succeed. You were not created lacking. You were not sent into this world incomplete. The talents, the intelligence, the creativity, the drive, it is all inside you. But the problem is most people never tap into it. They spend their lives searching for something external to give them confidence, waiting for someone to validate them, or hoping that a lucky break will change their circumstances. But real success does not come from the outside, it comes from within. The people who achieve extraordinary things in life are not the ones who had the most resources or the perfect conditions. They are the ones who discovered the power already inside them and used it. The biggest lie you have ever been told is that you are not enough, that you need something more, something outside of yourself to be worthy of success. Maybe you were told you weren't smart enough. not talented enough, not experienced enough. Maybe you've looked at others who are more successful and thought they had something special that you don't. But the truth is, you have everything you need. You just have to believe it. Every person who has ever accomplished anything great started exactly where you are, with nothing but an idea, a desire, and a willingness to take action. They were not born with more talent, more confidence, or more intelligence than you. The difference is they made the decision to trust in what they already had instead of waiting for something more. Your mind is the most powerful tool you possess. It has the ability to create ideas, to solve problems, to push through challenges, and to adapt to any situation. But if you do not believe in your own mind, you will never unlock its full potential. Too many people doubt themselves before they even try. They assume they aren't smart enough to start a business, to lead a team, to master a new skill. But intelligence is not something you are born with. It is something you develop. The moment you stop doubting your ability to learn and start trusting that you can figure things out, your entire life changes. The most successful people in the world were not the ones who had all the answers from the beginning. They were the ones who had the confidence to start knowing they would learn along the way. You were designed to overcome obstacles. Look at your life. How many times have you faced something you thought would break you, but you made it through? How many times have you struggled but eventually found a way forward? That is proof that you already have what it takes to succeed. You are resilient, adaptable, and capable of handling more than you realize. The reason you are still standing today is because there is something inside you that refuses to quit. And if you have made it this far, why would you doubt that you can go even further? Every challenge you face is not a sign that you are weak. It is an opportunity to prove your own strength. Every skill you need can be developed. Every weakness you think you have can be improved. The problem is most people focus too much on what they don't have instead of using what they do have. They say, I don't have the money, I don't have the connections, I don't have the experience. But the most successful people in the world started with nothing. They had no money, no experience, no powerful connections. What they had was the determination to start with what they had and build from there. You don't need more resources, you need more resourcefulness. You don't need more advantages, you need to maximize the ones you already have. The moment you stop making excuses and start using what's inside you, doors will open that you never even knew existed. The real key to success is not talent, it is belief. If you believe you are capable, you will take action. If you take action, you will gain experience. If you gain experience, you will develop skills. And if you develop skills, success becomes inevitable. But if you do not believe in yourself, you will never even start. It doesn't matter how much potential you have if you don't have the confidence to use it. This is why so many talented people never reach their full potential, because they never trust in their own ability. Meanwhile, those with less talent but more belief go on to accomplish extraordinary things. Confidence is the bridge between your potential and your success. And confidence is not something you wait for, it is something you create. Everything you admire in others exists within you. When you see someone who is confident, disciplined, successful, or skilled, you are not looking at someone who was born different from you. You are looking at someone who made the decision to develop those qualities. Every leader was once a follower. Every expert was once a beginner. Every successful person was once struggling, just like you. The only difference is they chose to tap into their potential instead of ignoring it. They chose to develop their skills instead of assuming they weren't good enough. They chose to believe in themselves even before they had the results to prove it. And you have that same choice. You can either spend your life doubting yourself, or you can start acting like the powerful, capable, and successful person you were always meant to be. You do not need permission to be great. You do not need someone to tell you that you are ready. You do not need to wait until you feel confident or until you have all the answers. You are already enough. You already have everything you need. The only thing left to do is use it. Fear is the most deceptive force in your life. It whispers in your ear, convincing you that you are not ready, not capable, not worthy of success. It exaggerates the risks, magnifies the dangers, and creates problems that don't even exist yet. Fear is not reality. It is a story your mind tells you based on past experiences, failures, and insecurities. It takes a single doubt and stretches it into an overwhelming barrier. But here's the truth. Fear has no real power. It only controls you if you allow it to. Every time you hesitate, every time you second guess yourself, every time you postpone taking action because you are afraid, you are giving fear a level of authority it does not deserve. The most dangerous thing about fear is that it disguises itself as logic. It makes you believe that waiting is the smart choice, that preparing longer is necessary, that avoiding risk is just being responsible. It presents itself as caution, as reason, as wisdom, but what it is really doing is keeping you trapped. Fear wants you to stay in the same place, repeating the same patterns, living the same life, never growing, never pushing, never reaching for more. It doesn't care about your potential, your dreams, or your success. Fear only cares about keeping you comfortable, but comfort is the enemy of greatness. Every extraordinary achievement in history was made by someone who refused to listen to fear and took action despite it. Fear is not something you eliminate, it is something you overcome. Too many people believe that courage means the absence of fear, that successful people have some special ability to avoid feeling afraid. That is not true. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not that one group feels fear and the other doesn't. The difference is that successful people feel fear and move forward anyway. They understand that fear is part of the process, not a reason to stop. They feel the fear, acknowledge it, and take action regardless. If you wait for fear to disappear before you take the next step, you will be waiting for the rest of your life. Fear is a liar because it convinces you that the worst case scenario is guaranteed. It tells you that if you fail, it will be permanent. That if you take a risk, you will regret it. That if you step out of your comfort zone, you will embarrass yourself. But look back at your life. How many things have you feared that never actually happened? How many times have you let fear stop you from doing something only to realize later that it wasn't as bad as you imagined? Fear is a master manipulator, feeding on your doubts and insecurities, making you believe in dangers that are not even real. The moment you recognize that fear is an illusion, you take away its power. The only way to silence fear is with action. Action is the antidote. The moment you take a step forward, fear begins to lose its grip. When you do the thing you were afraid of, you prove to yourself that it was never as impossible as it seemed. Fear thrives in inaction. It grows stronger when you hesitate, when you overthink, when you avoid. But the second you take action, fear starts to shrink. The more you act in the face of fear, the more confident you become. Confidence is not something you are born with. It is something you build through repeated action. The more times you challenge fear, the less control it has over you. Fear tries to convince you that failure is something to be avoided at all costs. But failure is not the enemy. Inaction is. Every successful person has failed more times than they can count. They have made mistakes, faced rejection, and encountered setbacks, but they kept going because they understood that failure is simply feedback. It is a lesson, a stepping stone, a necessary part of the journey. Fear wants you to believe that failing is the end, but in reality, failing is just the beginning of learning, growing, and improving. The only true failure is refusing to try, because when you don't try, you guarantee that nothing changes. Fear also tries to convince you that you are alone. It tells you that no one else struggles with self-doubt, that no one else feels anxious about taking risks, that everyone else is more prepared, more capable, more confident than you. But that is another lie. Every single person who has ever accomplished something meaningful has felt fear along the way. Every leader, every innovator, every entrepreneur, every artist, they have all faced moments of doubt. The difference is they didn't let fear make decisions for them. They acted in spite of it. And because they did, they changed their lives. If they had listened to fear, they would still be where they started, still waiting, still hesitating, still stuck. Fear will never disappear completely, but it doesn't have to control you. It will always be there, trying to hold you back, trying to keep you small, but you have a choice. You can believe the lies fear tells you, or you can take action despite them. You can let fear dictate your future, or you can take control of your own destiny. Because the truth is, fear only wins if you let it. Perfection is an illusion that keeps too many people stuck in the same place, afraid to move forward because they don't feel ready. They think they need to have everything figured out before they start, that they need to be flawless before they take action. But the truth is, no one who ever achieved greatness started out perfect. Every master was once a beginner. Every expert was once inexperienced. Every leader was once unsure of themselves. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not perfection, it's progress. The people who achieve extraordinary things in life are not the ones who waited until they were perfect. They are the ones who kept going despite their imperfections. The pursuit of perfection is one of the greatest traps that hold people back. It creates an endless cycle of self-doubt, procrastination, and frustration. You tell yourself you'll start that business once you have more experience. You tell yourself you'll chase your dream once you feel more confident. You tell yourself you'll take that risk once you have every possible outcome planned, but that day never comes because perfection is a moving target. No matter how much you prepare, you will never feel completely ready. No matter how much you learn, there will always be more to learn. And that's why waiting for perfection is the fastest way to waste your potential. Growth is the real goal, not perfection. Every step forward, every lesson learned, every mistake corrected, it all adds up over time. The problem is most people only focus on what they are lacking instead of how far they've come. They compare themselves to people who are years ahead in the journey and feel inadequate. But they forget that even the most successful people were once at the beginning struggling, making mistakes, figuring things out along the way. The key is to embrace the process of growth, to understand that progress, no matter how small, is still progress. If you are getting better, even by just 1% every day, you are moving in the right direction. Mistakes are not proof that you're failing. They're proof that you're trying. The only way to truly fail is to do nothing. If you take action, you will mess up, you will make the wrong decisions, you will experience setbacks, but that's not a sign to stop. It's a sign that you're in motion. The most successful people are not the ones who avoid failure. They're the ones who use failure as a tool to grow. Every mistake teaches you something valuable. Every setback gives you a new perspective. Every challenge forces you to become stronger. The only way to improve is to allow yourself the space to fail, learn, and keep going. One of the biggest reasons people chase perfection is because they are afraid of what others will think. They hesitate to start because they don't want to look foolish. They don't want to be judged for their early mistakes. But the truth is, no one is watching you as closely as you think. Most people are too focused on their own lives to analyze your every move. And even if they do judge, their opinions don't pay your bills, don't build your dreams, and don't create your success. You have to be willing to be imperfect in public, to grow in front of others, to let yourself be a work in progress. Because the only way to get to the level where people admire you is by pushing through the level where they doubt you. Perfectionism is just fear in disguise. It's fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of not being good enough. It's a way to justify procrastination, to make excuses for why you're not taking action. But if you wait until you're fearless, you'll never start. Fear never fully goes away. Confidence is not something you wait for, it's something you build through action. The more you do, the more you grow. The more you grow, the more confident you become. And the more confident you become, the less you care about being perfect. Instead, you focus on progress, on momentum, on becoming better than you were yesterday. Growth requires discomfort. It requires stepping outside of what's familiar, pushing past limitations, and embracing the unknown. It requires taking risks, making adjustments, and trusting that even when you don't have all the answers, you will figure it out. The most successful people are not the ones who started with everything. They're the ones who started with what they had and built from there. They didn't wait for perfect conditions, perfect knowledge, or perfect timing. They took action, learned as they went, and improved through experience. That is the mindset that separates those who succeed from those who stay stuck. The real key to success is consistency, not perfection. Small, consistent steps will take you further than waiting for the perfect moment. Progress compounds over time, and before you know it, you'll look back and realize just how far you've come. The people who accomplish the most in life are not the smartest, the most talented, or the most prepared. They are the ones who refuse to quit. They don't wait to be perfect. They just keep growing. Your mind is the most powerful tool you have. It is the starting point of everything you create in your life. Every thought you entertain, every belief you hold, every expectation you set, it all shapes the reality you experience. Your external world is a direct reflection of your internal world. If you believe in abundance, opportunities will appear. If you expect failure, obstacles will multiply. If you carry a mindset of doubt, struggle will follow. But if you cultivate a mindset of success, doors will open that others don't even see. The way you think determines the way you act, and the way you act determines the results you get. It all begins with what's happening in your mind. Most people don't realize that they are constantly attracting the life they are living. They assume that life is just happening to them, that circumstances are beyond their control, that luck, fate, or other people determine their destiny. But the truth is, your dominant thoughts and beliefs are shaping your future every single day. If you constantly focus on problems, you will attract more problems. If you focus on possibilities, you will attract solutions. The people who achieve great things in life are not the ones with perfect conditions. They are the ones with the right mindset. They train their minds to expect success, to see challenges as opportunities, and to believe that they are capable of achieving anything. Your mindset is like a magnet. It pulls in experiences that match your dominant thoughts. If you walk through life expecting struggle, lack, and disappointment, that is exactly what will show up. But if you shift your mindset to one of confidence, determination, and abundance, you will begin to see opportunities where others see roadblocks. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not intelligence, talent, or luck. It's perspective. Two people can face the exact same situation, but their mindsets will determine how they respond. One will see a reason to quit, while the other will see a reason to push forward. Your subconscious mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It simply takes the thoughts you feed it and turns them into reality. If you constantly tell yourself that you're not good enough, your subconscious mind will work to prove you right by keeping you stuck. But if you program your mind with empowering beliefs, your subconscious will find ways to turn those beliefs into results. This is why successful people practice visualization, affirmations, and positive self-talk. They understand that the mind must believe it before the body can achieve it. They train their thoughts the same way an athlete trains their body, because they know that mindset is everything. Most people underestimate the power of their words. The things you say about yourself, about your abilities, and about your future are shaping your reality. If you constantly speak about struggle, failure, and limitations, you are reinforcing a mindset that attracts those very things. But if you speak with confidence, gratitude, and expectation of success, you are aligning yourself with the life you